Hello.
Hey, Neil and
Hey,
Scott. Nice to meet you.
thanks for your
Nice to
interest.
meet you, Dennis.
Thank you for your time. And it's an amazing opportunity for me to talk to you guys about this. And, a big fan of both of you. So thank you. Congratulations on this new production. You guys did you and your team did an amazing job putting together this documentary. And it's sure to create a lot of excitement. And, when people talk about this kind of stuff, they get nervous and they get very excited to talk about this. So I know it's gonna create a lot of buzz. So officially, my name is Dennis Davila. I'm from La Oficina Geek, which is the geek office right here in Puerto Rico.
Nice. Geek office.
Yeah. So Scott.
Yes.
Shot in the arm, take us into the global measles epidemic, COVID-19, and the role of vaccine hesitancy. Can you share your personal motivation and passion for taking this project?
Thank you. Yes.
But how much time do you have? You don't have enough time for that.
Yes, it was any documentary. There's so many wonderful elements. There's a light bulb moment, maybe there's a couple light bulb moments, and there's research, and there's like, where is the idea? Where's the movie in here? And you're finding it.
Okay, a fast joke.
Fast joke.
A science comedian friend of mine said the light bulb was such a good idea, it became the symbol for a good idea.
Nice. That's pretty good.
You said light bulb moment.
That's how good it is.
That's how good an idea it was.
And it's such I'm so honored to be a storyteller and a journalist and a documentary story and a filmmaker and a documentary storyteller. And there's so many elements to it. And one of them is conflict is a huge part of it. Surprise is a huge part of it. Like all these pieces in storytelling. So the surprise was in 2019, I was looking in the news and seeing that there were record-breaking and state of emergency measles outbreaks in New York City, Washington State, across Europe. Why is this happening? And I did my own, hopefully good research and going to scientifically valid websites to see, and actually was websites plural, to be able to see the repeatability of, in 2000, we were eliminating measles. We're on the road to eliminating measles from the United States. So why is this happening? And I reached out to Dr. Paul Offit, a vaccinologist and wonderful science communicator. And he vetted me first to make sure that I was worth talking to, and I was going to treat him fairly and the science fairly. And he told me, Scott, it's dangerously simple. There are people that are spreading misinformation and disinformation and sometimes scaring the crud out of parents to get into convincing them to not vaccinate their children. And by doing this, they're lowering vaccine rates, lowering herd immunity. And it's not as Karen Ernst says in the movie, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when that we're going to see measles outbreak. So that was moment one. And then to tell a story, I want to tell the story of not just the people that are attempting, by all evidence, telling the truth. It's the people that are manipulating the truth as well. So I filmed with the anti-vaxxers as well, Robert Kennedy Jr., Andrew Wakefield, Del Bigtree, and then COVID happened. And it went to this whole other level.
You had a whole movie in the can.
Correct. We were really moving towards
with only the measles, right?
With only the measles.
With only the measles.
I wanted to make a series because just Andrew Wakefield could have been an hour, 90 minutes easily, right? But anyway, we won't go backwards. So then COVID happened, and through that process, I brought my family into the film. I had to take over narrating because we were in lockdown. I had the joy of working with this beautiful voice and mind on my previous film, and he narrated that. So I had no intention to put myself into the film, but I had to sort of play the cards that were dealt me, which is a part of the documentary process. And I put my family in the film humbly to just get a little bit of the all of us, right? The all of us, the universe, darn it. I can't use universality anymore. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
If it applies to Earth, just say global.
Global.
Don't
connection.
say universal.
That's fine.
Unless it's also happening on
Why
Mars.
are you still saying it?
Fine.
The Plutoosity. That's what I'm going to do to you. The Plutoosity. I'm just kidding. The global connection that we all had in this terrifying time that we lived through, and just that my family humbly represented that in our own small way, and the response has been very kind and emotional. It really gets me choked up. Not just that it's my family, but the response to this universal thing. And it's its own metaphor for how important it is that we think about ourselves as a global community, not just as individuals making our own decisions. As this terrifying image on the back of a car in the film says, your health is not more important than my freedom. It's just such a terrifying way of looking at the world. Yeah. Yes, complex story. Yes, yes. Honored to have this gentleman.
And including your family, it's the heart of the documentary.
Oh,
because we everybody can identify with your family in that moment. So it for me, it was the heart of the documentary. So that was really good.
Can Neil, I add something there? So my mother's Puerto Rican, and we would go to Puerto Rican restaurants in the city.
Yeah,
and there were always families there, right? With kids running up and down, making noise. And then we'd go to these sort of fancy restaurants, like a French restaurant, something, and there's no kids.
Interesting.
At all. And I'm just wondering, what's going on here? Don't they have kids? Oh, they're not allowed to come in because and I thought, we're having dinner. We're eating, that's a family thing.
A communal
thing. A communal thing. Yeah. And then only then did I realize that there's a very strong cultural distinction between sort of the European derived restaurant and the Puerto Rican restaurant, or just the Latin America restaurant, where the families and children are just all part. It's inherent.
Yeah, beautiful.
We were in an Irish neighborhood where the church
and the children were drunk.
No, stop. And
I'm Irish, everybody. A little joke.
The church had a room in the back where you brought your kids in case they made noise and it wouldn't interfere with the church. Where I go to Catholic services in Puerto Rican neighbors and in Puerto Rico, kids are making this part of. That's it.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes. Always. So for you to make a note of that,
I think it's
from Puerto Rico. Okay. I just want to just say thank you for noticing that.
You're saying more PR.
Yes.
PR Puerto Rico. Yes.
So Neil, Scott mentioned you guys worked before together in the documentary Food Evolution, which I saw, and I really liked it also. Can you explain to me and to the audience how your collaboration making Shot in the Arm came about, and what special viewpoints each of you contribute to the project?
Yeah, I don't claim to have a viewpoint other than, Scott, I think you could have done this better, you could have done this in a way that would be more impactful to communicate the science that's just otherwise in the script. Is there a visual? Is there a chart? Does something need repeating? And that's the expertise I bring to. I'm not a medical professional, but I do claim some life experience attempting to educate people. And this is what Scott saw in me when he sent me the first 2-hour cut and the script, and I sent them back extensive notes. He did maybe 2/3 of them. Others we tussled with, but that's a natural and expected and desired part of a creative of a creative process. And so that's my contribution to it. So that's how I think of myself first and foremost as script consultant, and I'm acknowledged as such. The executive producer part is more getting the film noticed.
Doing this.
Getting the film noticed and getting it out there.
Yeah.
And the things that executive producers do that enable any film to become a real thing rather than just
a known thing.
Rather than just his little project and he's walking around with the reel. Say, will you listen to me? No, producers make stuff happen.
Oh, it's like Karen's line. We're just offering the science. I'm just offering my movie.
Yeah, I take the way her hands.
Please,
her hands
please
were so.
Take my little movie. See my little movie.
Right.
You mentioned that you had the first 2-hour cut. Neil, did you suggested making big changes or small changes? How many changes?
Medium changes. Medium changes. He spent way too much footage on RFK Jr. Okay. I said this movie is not about RFK Jr. You have higher purpose here that you can convey. He said, but this is gold. Look what I got. And this is movie making gold. And I say, just dude,
He was Darth Vader. He liked kicking Darth Vader.
Dude, it reminds me of the Carly Simon song. You're so vain, you probably think the song is about you. We
that could work for any of the antis. They all think the song.
No. But I'm saying, no, given how much attention you're giving to them.
Yeah.
So I had them cut down the footage on RFK Jr. and Del Bigtree. You can't make a 2-hour or hour-and-a-half movie that's anti-Del Bigtree when he's 90% of the movie.
Yeah, no, it's a dangerous
It's
balance.
not how that works.
It's a dangerous balance, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of advice I was giving, because I wanted the science to show more.
And that was between him complimenting me, meticulously complimenting my.
I don't remember that part.
You don't remember that part?
So, Scott, in your experience as director, what techniques and strategies did you employ to tell this complex story? Because we have two sides in this documentary, so it might get a little bit complicated, taking a balance between the two sides. So
wait, first of all, wait, hold on. Hold on. If this was a film on whether Earth is flat or not, would you be seeking a balance? Is that really where you're coming? Well, I want to make sure half the movie gives an audience to the flat earthers. So there's a point where it's not about balance, it's about truth. And yes, he wants to show what all of the anti-vaxxers are saying so that you can properly bring the truth to it.
No false equivalence.
So there's but don't turn around and say, where's your balance? We're fair and balanced. No, that's not how this works.
And to be fair,
it's completely true.
And I'm hearing your question, Dennis, is it's a matter of empathy. One of the reasons that I had so much in there was to show so much of the antis was to show, and was to show empathy for the people that followed them, right?
Yes,
to show
precisely
that
it did not demonize their followers.
That's right, because they were so clever in the way that they use disinformation, the way that they use fear, the way that they use, as Paul often says, the vulnerability of a scared mother. Like what an evil brilliance to take advantage of that. So, sorry.
And by the way, and further, I would say there are 3 sides, not 2. The 3 sides are there's there are 4 sides, but so no, hold on.
I'll do it.
So there are the liberal left people who were anti-pharma and were spooked by the MMR vaccine, and those were the measles pockets that opened up in New York and in California. Then there's the conservative right who said, my freedom, you can't take my freedom. Okay. So they meet on the same side of the fence, both not wanting to get vaccinated, but for 2 different reasons. A third one, it was the Black community that remembers the Tuskegee experiments, where Black men were given placebo when they could have been given cure, so that they could study the progress of the disease within a living human. Oh my gosh. You want to talk about skepticism of a medical establishment. If you needed a reason to be skeptical, that's it. So we have 3 communities, each with different reasons for not taking the vaccine. And this film had to thread that in some way that was coherent, that you'd come out on the other side, understanding what science is and how and why it works.
Thank you.
So Neil, my last question. What role do you believe documentaries like this play in addressing vaccine hesitancy and misinformation?
I think, I have access to books because I write them, and social media platforms, TV interviews, but a documentary, a film, certainly in America and probably in most places of the world, has way higher potential for impact. Way higher. Just look at how many people have seen a movie versus read the book of the movie. It's 100 to 1. We don't live in a world of readers. We live in a world of movie watchers, consumers of visual media. And so this is, I'm an interloper in that medium, delighted to offer advice where and when it lands to tell the story. But he's the storyteller, and we all love stories, from kindergarten on up, where everyone sits on the carpet and the teacher's there and everyone is wrapped by the story. And that's his talent that I was privileged to contribute to.
So I get to use magic in the description of storytelling.
Why?
Storytelling has an element of magic.
Does it?
That it because it's an illusion. It's an illusion that you're looking at a screen and saying that that's real and not light flickering on a white background, right? So there is magic to storytelling, and I'm honored. You're asking what tools did I use? I used every tool that I could, every piece of cinema vocabulary that was available to me that I could afford and I had the means to use, and that works, right? That was hopefully the correct vocabulary to use that time. But there's the old given to Picasso, mediocre artists borrow, great artists steal. I will steal from anybody. I won't plagiarize, but I will steal from them as best I can to use something. If I saw a movie and it moved me, or I saw a movie and look at the way they compressed that. They just got that point across. They got 5 years in 10 seconds, whatever it is. I will borrow from that and try and make it my own as best I can. So.
Awesome, guys. My time is up, so thank you so much. I will definitely be recommending this documentary, and keep up with your projects, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. We hope to see you in Puerto Rico.
Yes. Awesome.